This is just good. Where it says live in the top left-hand corner. So
Let me go.
No, live. We're on live on stream.
can you see it on your Substack?
Oh,
Like, you know
there
how
it is.
I'm looking at your Substack.
Okay, we're now. Okay, there we go. We're gonna go back. Here we go. We're gonna start from the beginning.
I'm Tracy Edwards, writer, storyteller, and the voice behind Let's Get Unstuck. And around here, we don't do perfect. We do truth. We talk about the experience that leave us feeling stuck, the lessons hidden inside them, and the steps that help us move forward. Because if you feel stuck right now, it doesn't mean you're finished. There is always a way forward. And every next step brings you closer to the person you were meant to be. And that's what it means to get unstuck.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me right now.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Oh, my God. I'm going to hang up and come back on.
Okay.
Aaron's going to take the show, guys, for just
Here we
a
go,
minute.
everybody.
Unbelievable.
What's going on?
I don't know. John?
So we have some technical difficulties. I'm sorry for restarting this a couple times. We are trying to fix this. And Aaron has been graciously patient with this whole setup. And Tracy has been trying to figure out how we get back on, and it's just been a challenge. So we apologize.
I'm hanging up.
She's gonna. So in the meantime, hi Aaron, how you doing? This is a comedy
John
hour.
and I just met. And we're already good friends.
So Tracy, go ahead and do your thing. We'll come back in. In the meantime, hi Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, John?
Good.
Now she can't get out.
First time we met, Erin was telling me a little bit what she does and what she's doing, and it sounds like a fascinating thing. I need to learn more about that. I was hoping to learn more about that tonight, if Tracy can figure herself out, which would be kind of cool. In the meantime, people are talking about the awesome intro. Thank you very much, Sarah. And Erin was even mentioning it. That intro was the paintings that I've created, and there she is. So I'm going to let...
So it was a great intro, John.
Thank you. I created that for Tracy. The reason why I created it was one day we were kind of like going back and forth, and she was like, she was thinking I was being mean to her, but I wasn't. I was trying to help her. I was trying to help her figure out her intro and outro. And she goes, "What were your paintings?" And I was like, "I don't know what paintings." And I realized I had a series of the homeless. Those are the homeless that I met on the streets of Lancaster, PA. And there's a story behind that, and each one have a story. So that's where it came from.
Love it.
So,
and I know it just felt fitting because, like, you know, with Let's Get Unstuck and just, you know, what people go through in the different phases of their lives and how John was seeing them, and then, you know, some survive it and, you know, rebounce back and take next steps and moving forward and getting unstuck, and, you know, and that's kind of like why I just felt it was like a little fitting.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, I'm going to bounce back out and let you guys take it from here. Anyways, thank you everybody for tonight, and sorry for all the technical difficulties. I swear to God, one day we'll get this thing right.
Honestly,
all good.
If nobody shows up tonight, Aaron, it's John's fault, not mine.
Totally. We're going to get some awesome clips from it.
No, we have some people commenting tonight. We have like RJ Shore, definitely want to connect sometime. We got Sarah, we have Florence, we have Lynn out there. So
nice.
I'm gonna bail out and let you guys do your show.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Oh my God. Okay, let's try this again.
Yes. Hello, my friend.
Oh my God. I have Erin Gregory with us tonight. She's one of my very first friends on Substack, who's actually grown into being one of my very cool, close friends. And we just consider this our, wait, no, we jumped, this is like our fifth time being on this.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But we like just getting on because we just like having a chit chat together and talk about some cool shit. So
yeah,
tonight's story. Most of us grow up believing that if we work hard, make the right choices, and follow the plan, that life will unfold the way it's supposed to. But what happens when it does not do that? Tonight, Erin shares a deeply personal story about stepping into adulthood just as the world around us decides to change. A story about chasing her career she thought she wanted, navigating unexpected setbacks, and then questioning her own instincts and wondering if she fell behind somehow. What makes Erin's story so relatable, especially to me, is that we've all had moments that felt like failure, only to realize that later they were just leading us somewhere we couldn't see yet. So at the heart of this story, it's about perspective. It's about recognizing that some of life's most defining moments don't feel significant while we're living in them. Like, they look like we took wrong turns, disappointments, or chapters we'd just rather forget. So many. Mm-hmm. Only later do we realize those chapters weren't wasted. They were preparing us for everything that followed. Before we dive into Erin's amazing story, which is a chapter out of her book, and she will tell you about it in a minute, I just would love for you to introduce yourself to anybody who has not met you yet.
Yes.
Quickly, why you led into writing, why you started notes from the Messy Middle, and then why this story.
Yeah. Well, hello. If I haven't met you yet, I'm Erin Gregory. I founded Erin Gregory Creative officially about 2.5 years ago. Unofficially about 12 years ago, after I had my first daughter. And that experience, if you listen to our first conversation, I talk about how having her really changed my perspective on work in general, and how unjust the workforce is for moms in particular. And I really learned that the hard way. And so after I had her, it was really an unlearning process and a weeding out of the things that I didn't want, more so than finding what I did. But through all of those experiences, I found this beautiful clarity in what clients really benefited the most from what I had to offer, and what clients I really grew with and felt the best about myself with. And so Erin Gregory Creative was founded on that mindset, not just what skills I have, go towards your talents and then build the rest around them, but I built a business that allowed me to be my best self, to be present with my kids, and to work with people who I really value what they're doing for our workforce. Do you hear that interference?
No, not at all. What do you mean? It happens it's something with the stream. I think it's good.
Okay. Does it come back?
Well, it'll fuzz out. But anyway, go on, please. Just ignore it.
Okay. So then fast forward to launching my business, and I started writing my first book about, I wasn't even sure yet. I just started documenting sort of my work and life experiences, and through it came this great autobiography of how to find yourself and align that with your work. I feel like it's such a societal problem that people will work just for the sake of making money. And I really want to help the next generation and the next group of graduates to align their careers with who they are and what kind of life they actually want, not just financially, but holistically. Right. So the Messy Middle is sort of like the living case study. That's the podcast. I speak with other founders and people who have been through their challenges and found the other way out, to give examples for how you can do it yourself. And then the book will be a guide to help folks navigate their different experiences and map them towards a career that works for them.
I love it. And so why this story?
So I've been thinking a lot lately about the challenges that the workforce has, and how, I mean, we're going backwards in a lot of ways, it feels like. But the reality is the workforce is always going to be unstable for one reason or another. And the most important thing we can do is continue to use our experiences as data to learn more about ourselves and how to further get towards that ideal work-life balance, whatever that looks like for you. That could be an in-office job, that could be a remote job, that could be founding your own business, whatever that looks like. And so this story really comes to my memory often because it's such a pivotal time in my life. And similar to when I had my first daughter and the challenges we went through with her, those have been the best experiences to help me find myself. So I'm excited to share it with everybody.
Yeah, thanks, girl. So the story you're about to hear, everyone, is an invitation to look at your own life just a little bit differently. It's a reflection on unmet expectations, trusting your instincts, finding purpose in unexpected places, and discovering that even the chapters we'd never choose can shape the life we're meant to live. Again, this, like, I love this story. I've read it like 3 times. So whenever you're ready, just floor's yours, girl.
Okay. This is called Nothing is Wasted If You're Paying Attention, and this is adapted from my book, yet to be published, but it's on its way, currently titled Living on Purpose. So I'm really committed. You can tell. It's a work in progress. All right. Back in 2007, I couldn't wait to start my career in public relations. I had big dreams of event planning, media spotlights, and sharing my ideas with the world. Fresh out of Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, go Cards, I moved an hour south to Indianapolis, certain I would land my dream job in the big city. For a young woman who had royally left her hometown of Fort Wayne, Indiana, it felt huge. I graduated as an honor scholar athlete with 2 internships under my belt, and I thought I was ripe for the picking. They told me the path was reliable: get the degree, land the entry-level job, climb the ladder. The degree itself was more of a ticket to play, but getting in the door was just the beginning. The degree didn't teach me how to navigate office politics, recognize red flags, or build a career that actually fit my life. It was the entry fee and nothing more. I graduated on the cusp of a recession. The economy collapsed just as my classmates and I were launching into adulthood. Hiring freezes swept through every industry. I came to learn that entry level did not mean what I thought. Most jobs wanted upwards of 5 years of experience. That's still the case, by the way. My network was small enough to count on one hand. So I did what you do when you're young and scared and bills are piling up. I adjusted the plan. Fate stepped in when Nordstrom called. I still remember what I wore to that interview: a red silk button down with black dress pants and matching stilettos. I had chosen the outfit carefully, manifesting my future and channeling Anne Hathaway from The Devil Wears Prada. When the manager offered me the role in women's intimates and athletics, I was so proud just to be considered. I never expected to add certified bra fitter to my resume. At first, I told myself it was temporary, a placeholder, but the women in that department changed something in me. Some had been there 20 years. They knew customers by name, remembered birthdays, asked about kids and grandkids. Their job wasn't transactional, it was relational. They weren't just selling bras, they were creating trust, offering dignity, and making women feel seen. I stopped thinking of the work as wrong for me, and I started thinking of it as training I hadn't known I needed. The skills I gained weren't the ones on my resume, they were the ones I was building in a job I had never wanted. Then the recession hit full force. Commission checks dropped from $2,000 every 2 weeks to $800. I lived off bagels and rice for months in my cozy downtown apartment, and that is no joke. It's like all I bought for groceries that year. That is shared with a high school friend. Eventually, I had to leave. But that year taught me that every role matters, even the ones you never planned for. That dignity isn't determined by your title, it's determined by how you show up. The job search that followed was brutal. I applied to anything I could that would pay. Navigating the workforce was still new to me, and I didn't know how to be strategic about it yet. When an alternative news magazine called about an account representative position, I didn't hesitate. The office was very cool, creative types with strong opinions and stronger coffee, but the work was revenue driven. Numbers on a board, quotas, cold calls until someone hung up on you. The rejections piled up until they stopped feeling personal. It was another job, another moment of thinking this couldn't be what I'd worked for. About 6 months into that job, I cold called a massive gym and ended up speaking with the manager, a former NFL player who had bought into the facility. We talked about ad placements, and somewhere in the conversation, he asked if I would ever consider working for him as a sales director. After a couple follow on conversations, he offered to take me to dinner at a high end steakhouse downtown. I went, thinking it was a professional opportunity. The meal itself was fine, but after that night, things changed. He started asking to hang out outside of work. And one night I said yes. I'm still not sure why. Maybe desperation, maybe loneliness, maybe the hope that this connection could turn into something legitimate for my career. He came over, but I made sure a friend was there with me. Some part of me knew not to be alone with him, even if I couldn't articulate why. When he left, there was a $50 bill on my kitchen counter. I stared at it for a long time. It was survival money. I felt the pull toward relief on one side and shame on the other, knowing what leaving money implied, what he thought this was. Later that evening, he sent me a text message and invited me over for a massage in his apartment. That solidified the uncertainty I was feeling. I called my parents to explain the situation. My dad showed up the next morning. He took me out to lunch and just listened. Per the guidance of a family friend and police officer, I texted the manager that I would not be taking the job and that my dad didn't think it was a good move. His reply was fast and defensive, but good advice if you're ever in that kind of a situation. Text the person and mention a superior or equal adult in the room with you so they know they're being watched. His reply was fast and defensive. It confirmed what I already knew. He wasn't interested in my potential as an employee. He was interested in other things. Within days, I was packing my apartment and moving home to Fort Wayne. The floor dropped out. I felt like I'd failed at everything. My career, my independence, my ability to navigate the world as an adult. It took me months, if not years, to accept that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't the way I dressed. It wasn't my kindness being mistaken for flirting. It was him. He saw a vulnerable young woman and aimed to take advantage. I once thought moving home was a failure. Now I see it as self-preservation. I'm grateful I had a place to run to. Many women don't. After settling in at my parents' house, I landed a job as a server at a local Italian restaurant to pay bills while I figured out what was next. The service industry is hard work. Taking orders, managing difficult customers, staying on your feet for hours. Moving home at 23 felt like admitting defeat. All my college friends were building careers in big cities, posting photos from happy hours and work events. I was back in my childhood bedroom serving pasta to people I'd gone to high school with, hating everything about it. I spent a lot of nights out with friends I'd met at the restaurant I worked at, trying to find my answer in dark rooms with loud music. I was looking for something. Validation, distraction, proof that I was still young and free and not failing at everything. But you can't find direction at the bottom of a glass or in the attention of strangers who don't know your story. Some part of me knew the nights out were just noise covering up the work I needed to do. The real work of figuring out who I was and what I actually wanted, not just what I thought I was supposed to want. After about 6 months and more applying into what felt like an empty void, a lot of people are facing that right now too, I was offered a position as a fundraising coordinator at a local nonprofit. A small but mighty team supporting children with muscular disabilities. A strong female-led organization, which was exactly what I needed. What I didn't expect was how much helping others navigate challenges far more difficult than my own would heal me. When you're helping others, you stop drowning in your own struggles. For the first time since graduation, I felt like I was moving towards something instead of just filling a gap. I was building my foundation. Even if I couldn't see the whole picture yet, each role, each experience was contributing to a direction I didn't fully understand. The skills from Nordstrom, how to read people, how to build trust, carried me through every job after. The gut instinct I developed after the gym manager incident protected me in future situations and taught me to listen when something felt off. Waitressing taught me resilience, still maybe the hardest job I've ever had, and taught me to never look down on someone serving my table. The fundraising work taught me how mission-driven organizations operate, what they need, where the gaps are, and where I am destined to serve. Most jobs are like that, in my experience. You take what you learned and leverage it for the next position. Nothing is wasted if you're paying attention. The gym manager wasn't the last difficult encounter I would have in the workforce. There would be many more. Tears would be shed, caused by men and women both. But with each experience I learned, I grew. I became more resilient and more confident. And along the way, I found my people, like you. The leaders doing good work, building a more equitable workforce, striving for positive change, dedicated to making opportunity more accessible and feasible for all of us. I'm stronger today because of all of it, not in spite of the recession, the cold calls, the $50 on my counter, the nights I spent looking for answers in the wrong places, because of them. Every one of those experiences sharpened my instincts and clarified what I would and wouldn't tolerate. They taught me what kind of workplaces I wanted to build and be part of, and what kind of would walk away from without apology. Now I'm a mother of 3 daughters, and I think about the workforce they'll inherit. I think about the young woman I was at 23, certain she had failed, with no framework for understanding that the system was never built to support her in the first place. I don't want them to learn what I learned the hard way. I want them to walk in already knowing their worth, already trusting the voice that says something is off. That's why this work matters to me, helping people connect the dots between everything they've done and where they're trying to go isn't just a service I offer, it's personal. I know what it feels like to do everything right and still end up in your childhood bedroom wondering where it all went wrong. I know what it takes to claw your way back. And I know that the strain so many of us feel, especially parents trying to build meaningful careers without losing their families in the process, isn't a personal failing. It's structural. It's a design problem, and design problems can be solved. So I keep building for my daughters, for the next generation, and for everyone still standing in the middle of the mess, certain they're the only one who hasn't figured it out yet. You're not failing, you're paying attention. And nothing you're living through right now is wasted.
I loved it. Love it. Because there's so much I can relate to on that. Oh my God.
There's a lot to unpack there.
You know, like the one thing that keeps kind of like coming back, and like because again, I've read this a few times, it's just like, how often do we decide what a chapter means before it's actually finished? And so like we convince ourselves that we failed, that we've fallen behind, and that somehow everyone else received this roadmap while we're still trying to figure out like which freaking direction to go. God, I could relate to this. But your story reminds us that life doesn't usually make sense while we're living in it. And it just makes sense when we look back at it. And so what once felt like rejection becomes redirection. I gotta remind myself of that. And what felt like wasted time becomes experience. So I think every one of us can point at a chapter we wish we, could yet see the actual purpose of. And your story is just a really great reminder that sometimes the lesson isn't finding the perfect path. Sometimes it's just trusting that this chapter is teaching us something we'll one day be very grateful for that we learned.
Yeah. And like you said, that's really hard to do when you're in the middle of it.
So hard. Can we have a therapy session on this right now, please?
I would love to.
I mean, it's the truth though. It's like, I find myself kind of, am I in the right position right now? Like, I know I have so much more to offer. I know I've achieved so many like insane things in my career. And yet here I am as an executive assistant to an incredible woman who is a founder of this awesome startup. But yet it's like, I know that there's just so much more in me that I can offer, but yet I still haven't figured out like, what direction do I go?
Well, what are you planning to do with this guy here?
I don't know. I keep asking myself that. I'm like waiting.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the day where it just kind of goes, the aha moment goes, well, oh, okay, like that's what it is all about. That's what you should be doing. But yet, I'm still trying to figure that piece out.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're doing it. I think you just have to figure how you want to actually grow it.
That's a very, very true statement. I keep saying to myself that, Let's Get Unstuck is like, it's my purpose. Like I love doing this. I love bringing people's stories, their personal lived experiences to life, and let them be like, get it out and and share it with others and help connect. And it's like, I would love to put all my energy and time into just that and make it a huge success,
Yeah.
and maybe
Yeah.
it will. I don't know. Who knows? I keep chipping away at it every week, every other week. We'll see what happens from it. But for right now, it gives me purpose. It keeps me excited. It allows me to be creative. And I just hope that just evolves into, what that next step is for me. So, but
yeah, I mean, what I always tell clients, I do conversations like workshops with recent graduates or entry-level employees and such. And I have that trifecta that's in my Substack, which is aligning your talents with your interests and your what's the third one? I wasn't planning on talking about this today, so it's not top of my mind. Talents, interests, and values. Right. So you know what you're good at, Tracy.
Yes.
List out what you're good at, right? And then what's really important to you. For me, it was being home with my kids when I needed to be. So I had to build work around that. And then in working with mission-driven organizations whose missions I really align with.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of workforce-oriented nonprofits offering different opportunities to lower income neighborhoods and for high school students in inner city schools.
I love it.
And health and wellness organizations, because that's really important to me. So kind of figure out where those things align. And then what do you like learning about? What topic would you want to consistently be talking about and researching? And so when I go through that exercise with people, it doesn't answer the question, but it gets you thinking in that direction. And then you start to notice things when you're on LinkedIn searching for stuff, maybe that you didn't notice before. And your mind starts to get drawn towards some of those things and it starts to become clearer. But that's
I love that.
That's how I kind of found my place with this company I have now. And sometimes, and like any entrepreneur, you're sick of it, and I've had a half dozen conversations with like venture capitalists and coaches. Shout out to Scott Perry, who's very tolerant of all of me interrupting our conversations with his Substack group, but he's great. And then, conversations with you and with Crispy Wrights. It helps to bring clarity because you're aligning yourself with people who have similar values and interests as you.
I love that.
So,
well,
but it's a process.
It is a process.
I mean, I've been doing this for 8 months now and I'm still honing in on that direction.
Well, let's see. Sarah, she just popped up before I go into my Q&A. Sarah, could you let me get through my Q&A first, please? I'm just kidding. This is one of my favorites. I love
Sarah. I can't see the chat or anything, so you'll have to let me know, Tracy.
I got you. She says, "Oh, I have one for Erin. When did you realize things were taking a turn? Was it when you were in the middle of the mess that gave you the confidence to keep fighting? Or was it after the hard times?" I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's 100 responses to that based on the situation. So I'll just speak to the story. And the gym manager. So before I expand this chapter more in my book, but I'll give you a little more insight. While I was at this alternative magazine, I was hired to sell ads for the automotive department and I don't remember the others. The automotive department was the only one I was successful in. So
go with it.
Hate sales.
Hate it.
And what I found out after I was hired is I was also responsible for personal ads. And so one day I was asked to go meet a client downstairs, and she was a hooker. And I remember being in that conversation and I don't judge people who end up in that boat because God knows what got them there.
Of course.
But that being said, I didn't feel comfortable being the conduit to what was happening. am promoting it, no less.
Yeah.
So that was the space I was in when I went to the gym and called on that that manager, the part owner, and he offered me the sales director job. And God, it's so funny because you remember what you wear. I remember how I did my hair.
Totally.
Everything. You like memorize it because you're like, what did I do wrong that I'm not going to do again?
Right.
But I had a feeling that it was off. Nothing's that easy, and that's like always my like tried and true tell. If something comes too easy, whether it's like a financial opportunity, a job, I'm immediately skeptical because when you get a legitimate job, you go through 6 interviews and it's a whole process and you have to submit things. And so the fact that he was like trying to recruit me to work for him, I was flattered because of my current situation and being inexperienced and a little naive. And I think the dinner was fine, but once he came over, I just felt it.
Yeah.
Like it just, and I'm grateful to my younger self for knowing to have my friend there.
That was so smart. That was so smart.
It's so funny, Tracy, because I read that and my mind is like, duh, Aaron.
But when you're that young, like, how much dumb stuff have we done? Or, like, not used our brains when we should have been using our brains? Like, you were definitely paying attention.
Yeah, part of me. I don't know. Yeah, it was something else.
Like that happened to me. I'll never forget. I met a guy when I moved to California. I met an older guy. He was very successful. He had a mortgage brokerage up in Newport Beach. And I was bartending at the time. And he was like, do you ever want to get out of this space? Like, I think you would do really good with sales. He's like, and this is when the industry was booming recession we went through. Yeah, we all went through. But anyway, I was like, you know what, I am. And so he would come in frequently. And I just thought that I had established like getting to know each other through just bartending and talking. So I felt like my interview process was that. And then he's like, hey, he's like, come up, move up. He's like, I'll get you. He's like, I'll give you a job at my company. I packed my stuff, moved to Newport Beach, did not know one soul. Moved into a living situation with he was an awesome guy, awesome roommate anyway. But I'd never lived with somebody I didn't know before. I mean, naive girl from Ohio here, like never did that. And then he never called me. I called him. Hey, I just moved up here. Hey, I just like, spoken to this person like almost pretty much every other day. And crickets. Yeah. I mean, like, I guess I wasn't reading the room or paying close enough attention is my point. But like,
it's just, I've got plenty of hard lesson stories, Tracy, don't worry. And like, that's a big part of why I'm like dedicated to figuring out more about how we can build more equity in the workforce, how we can have higher standards that people actually want to buy into, because it's so contentious when they try to put any sort of, rules around it. So we just have to do a better job of like embedding that in how we are teaching people to work together, like just be a decent human. Right. But also to like, there needs to be a better understanding that people are not designed just to be worker bees. We want to, we are having a problem with, women getting pregnant. People don't want to have babies as quickly because the economy doesn't support us, right. And it takes 2 incomes to raise a family. Yes. And until people decide they're going to change and actually prioritize the people again over the productivity of a company, it's not going to get any better.
It's so interesting because the company I work for, like, it's a talent sourcing company as well, and consulting company, and she's amazing. And I think the reason why I took the EA position is because I figured it was a shoe-in, because it was an easy way to get my foot into the door, so I could actually prove myself and show my strengths, so I could actually grow within the business, which is helping grow business. And so although I say the EA isn't exactly, what I want to do, I'm grateful that I have that and that she took a chance on me to allow me to put my foot in the door, because hopefully, this is like month 3 that I'm going to be on, like that it starts to show kind of like how I can evolve into a stronger role. So
Yeah.
I think that when you asked me the question earlier, it's like, what do you want to get out of this? It's the opportunity to kind of, it's obviously utilize my strengths and to help build that business with her. That stuff I get a kick out of.
Yeah, well, in talent sourcing, it's a great industry. I've thought about going into it a number of times, but I don't know. I've been in that boat so many times that I just like to, if someone sends me a resume, I've had dozens sent to me over the years from former colleagues who've been laid off to women who've been caregivers for my kids. I always give them referrals and help them out. Like, it's such a vulnerable situation that for me personally, I couldn't build a career out of it, but I work for several organizations who do. I work for a staffing firm. That's one of my clients. So I think it's a fantastic industry, and you're doing good things for people.
That's exactly it. You're helping people like me. What is the odds that I was stressing out about finding work and reaching out to so many recruiters, and then this founder found me on LinkedIn, sussed me out, and it just so happened that that's what the company is built around. I'm like, okay.
Things aligned if you're paying attention, Tracy.
It did. Okay, I'm going into my questions.
Okay.
At the beginning of your story, you described graduating from college believing you had done everything right.
Mm-hmm.
You earned the degree, you completed those internships, moved to a new city, and expected life to follow the path you worked so hard to create. Then almost overnight, the recession changed everything. That was brutal.
It was.
I think a lot of people experience moments where life completely rewrites the plan they thought they were going to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you look back now, how much of your struggle came from what was actually happening versus grieving the life you thought you were supposed to have?
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's so funny at 23 how you you can already presume failure. And gosh, I think it was just all fear, which is what drives so much negativity in our lives is just being fearful of change. A lot of people will sit in their own stuck because they're afraid of what happens if they take a risk, if they take a change. And I get that. I've never been that person, but I was married to one. I mean, I am still married. He's not that person anymore.
Yeah.
But he was in a job he hated for 12 years, and I saw him like just slowly corrode over time.
Yeah.
And eventually it got the better of him. And so I think experiencing that and other people in my life who I've watched work in careers and be in situations that make them miserable, and just accepting that that's how it goes. I just rejected that significantly. And even if I didn't know it at that phase of life, it was what I was doing. And I wasn't sure how to do it yet, but I kept trying. I kept looking for the right fit. And I learned some things along the way about how to better be strategic about it. And that's what I teach when I do workshops and such, is how to kind of look at it as a problem to be solved versus like, we just have to make money. We know the economy sucks. It's going to suck for the rest of our lives. There is no like end in sight that it's going to be wonderful one day. And so you just have to kind of get used to it. Get used to the uncertainty. That was another challenge too, was the not knowing. And as a young graduate, you don't know that this is just the constant, and you just have to figure out how to deal with it.
Well, and it is the pressure of having to figure it out. Like, and because, and the worst is when you do feel like you're far behind everyone else. And I think that for me, especially, like, I have so many successful friends, and I was doing that to myself. I started to go down the dark spiral of like, you're so far behind everyone. You're like, in but then something shifted in me to the point where it's like, I don't look at it like that anymore. Like I'm now looking at like opportunities that come my way, exactly how like you're saying things. Like I'm looking at it for, there is a reason this is happening. There is a reason why I'm in this position I am in right now. I might not understand why I am here right now, but thank God I have money and a job and all of it. But let's see where let's see where it grows. And then like, yeah, once things might not work out here or there is that reflection where you look back and you're like, but that's why it happened. And that's what I gained from it.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and you know, if you, I love, I read a bit from different sources, but there is an alignment between the spiritual messaging and like Christian messaging and stuff that we manifest. You know, it's framed in different ways, but we manifest what happens to us. And I believe that 100%. And my daughters think I'm crazy.
no, I
Some of
believe
you
it.
out there probably do too.
No.
But you know, they'll go on tangents and be mad and angry about things, and I'll just say, you need to process it. I get it out, and then we move on, and you figure out what you can take away from this situation, and then you take it out into the world and you learn from it, because that's what's going to come back to you, is that lesson and welcoming in what comes next. If you just take your anger out into the world and you continue to be pissed off about where life took you today, you're just going to continue to like stub your toe by the door.
Yeah.
And you know, so it's little things like that, but I've just always felt like they've lined up so much for us over the course of time. And that's a big kind of theme throughout my book, is like I resisted so much of where life took me for the first like 10 years. And I don't believe in regret, but if I could advise myself to be more open to what was coming, I maybe would have been a little less stressed in my formative years.
Yeah. Seriously.
Right?
We put so much pressure on ourselves. It's so sad. Next question. One of the most honest parts of your story is when you talk about moving back home and feeling like you failed. And I could totally get that. Like I would totally think that I would have done the same thing. But reading it now, it's clear that going home gave you safety and the opportunity to rebuild yourself. So, what story were you telling yourself during that period of your life? And how long did it take you before you realized moving home wasn't failure? It was just self-preservation.
The job made a huge difference.
The serving
you
job.
know, the nonprofit job that I got in Fort Wayne. So yeah, I mean, when I was growing up in high school, I always knew I wasn't going to stay in Fort Wayne. Nothing wrong with Fort Wayne. It's a great town. My family still lives there. I just knew it wasn't for me. And so, you know, I took this big leap going to Indianapolis, which was like, it's such a small, big city. But it was a big leap for me. You know, I had my own apartment that I blew my savings on with my roommate because I didn't have a job. So many things pointed to this is not going to work. But, you know, again, 22 and 23. And so, you know, I moved home, and it was unfortunate how it all kind of fell apart the way it did. But it led me to that job. And that is where I really found the work that I liked doing. I still hated being in the office. I am a creative at heart, and sitting in an office all day is like torture to me. So when COVID hit and we had the opportunity to work from home, it was like, well, this is where it's at.
Yeah, totally.
And I never went back.
Still, I haven't either. Oh my gosh. I tried. There's a really difficult moment in your story involving this gym manager guy who sounds like a total douchebag.
He was.
What struck me wasn't only what happened, it was the way you described listening to your instincts before you could fully explain why something felt wrong. And I imagine a lot of women listening have had moments where something didn't sit right, but they question themselves instead of trusting that feeling. Got it. There so many times.
I know.
How did that experience change the relationship you have with your own intuition?
A lot. You know, and when I was younger, I almost had, I hated confrontation. I'm still not like a huge fan of confrontation, which is maybe why I've trained myself to be a really good communicator, because I'm like, I can reduce friction if I can just articulate my point enough. But there are still going to be those difficult people and the people who are just wrong. So I got the feeling, but I was so desperate, and I can understand people who are in really, I mean, I was in a challenging financial position. I didn't know how to be strategic about it, right? Like, I had a job, that job sucked. I had crappy commission paychecks, and then this guy's offering me a director position, and it was sales, so I was already kind of turned off by it, but the idea to make a decent living was appealing. So I went along with it, but every part of it felt off.
Yeah.
You know, you just get a vibe about certain people. And so I have learned to pick up on that vibe, and as soon as I do, I'm like, nope, we're gonna walk away now. And it's harder when it's a different kind of experience, right? It's not like the ick so much as it's like he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
And now I've got to, you know, and I've been in positions where you know, CEOs have been like, he's really hard to get along with, but you can't have everybody be like you. I'm like, well, so I'm gonna start my own company and I can pick nice people. Which is kind of how that went. But yeah, you do. I mean, and company owners and founders, there are a lot of good ones out there. There are a lot of bad ones out there.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if you're in a situation where you got a crappy one, get out. You know, I understand the financial side of it, so have a backup plan as you do, but God, don't stay there.
Yeah. And I think that if I go back to the story of my old boss, you know, I worked for ages, I saw the signals. I saw the flags.
Yeah.
I stayed for 10 years because I got comfortable. I don't like change. I admit it. I am not one for change. I like being comfortable. And it doesn't mean that I'm not learning or growing. I just like being comfortable. I like stability. I don't like being curveballs make me lose my don't like it. So I worked for longer than I should have, and I knew I should have left. I knew there was multiple times, even when I had a business coach, where I was like, can you just help me with my resume, because like I just don't know how much longer I want to stay in this situation. Meanwhile, she was paying for me to go to that business coach, but I was like, I just did.
Well, it's hard. I mean,
well, it is hard. It is.
And money is what it is. You know, and I had a conversation recently with somebody, you know, being in the line of work that I am, and I was like, why is it so hard for founders, myself included, to be like, I want to make money. Like, I love what I do, but it funds my life. You know, it funds my kid going to softball, and, you know, my other daughter getting tutoring, and like going on a, you know, relatively cheap vacation because all of our money goes to sports. But that's what you do it for. You do it for the people who you love, but you want to also align what's important to you with your work.
True.
And serving people who are doing good for our country and trying to make things better for the people who are struggling is work that I come home to my kids, or they come home to me, and I can easily talk to them about it because I'm proud of it, proud of the contribution that I am making. So, you know, think about what would make you proud to do every day. And
I'm doing right now with you.
Yeah. What? There's something here, Tracy. You just gotta sit down and think about how you would scale it.
I know.
If it's hosting you and John tag teaming hosting podcasts for, you know, other entrepreneurs on Substack, but there's a number of different routes you can go.
We will do a brainstorm session. I will do one with you.
Yeah, we'll do a live one.
Yes, I want one. The title of your story is "Nothing is Wasted If You're Paying Attention." As I listened, I realized that wasn't just the title. It became the thread connecting every chapter of your journey, through just your retail job, the waitressing, the fundraising, even the experience that hurt you, in essence. They all ended up teaching you something. When did you finally begin seeing those experiences as preparation instead of detours?
When I started writing my book.
Awesome.
Yeah, I try not to look back too much. There is power in reflection, though. And when I started writing my book, and it was prompted by writing the Baker's book, another book that I wrote, who they were so inspiring. You know, they left their six-figure jobs at 30 to build a portfolio of properties, and they had a decent nest egg, but they were living on $20,000 for the year with their 3 kids in a little apartment with a beat up van. Yeah. So they go from this like luxury life overseas to having this epiphany after they had kids, like I had, which is why I connected with them so much, that they didn't want to work to pay for daycare. And having lived in different countries and everything, they were like, well, other countries don't do it like that. You know, like it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to live here, and then another like $2,000 a month to put your kid in daycare just so you can afford to have the kid. So they quit their jobs and started building up a portfolio of properties. They had a couple of just turnkey rentals, and then they decided over the pandemic to just renovate their hometown. And that caused a trickle effect of, you know, libraries being built and renovated, and summer camp and after school programs and coming into their buildings for like a super cheap cost. So they just had this really amazing story. And I was like, this is the message I feel like the world needs to know, is like, stop accepting a work-life experience that sucks. Make your own, whatever that looks like.
I'll sit with that for a moment.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years, Tracy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, hey, you're doing the good work. You're doing the good work.
I'm trying.
One thing I really appreciate about your story is that you never tried to make the difficult chapters sound positive while you were living in them. And you were honest about feeling disappointed and embarrassed and uncertain and even lost. But today you spend your life helping others discover the meaning in their own stories. It made me wonder if helping others do that also reminds you of your own journey. So how has your own story changed the way that you help other people understand theirs?
Yeah. So I kind of naturally aligned all of this just because of I guess of who I am, of what I do. But I help mission-driven organizations, you know, nonprofits and small businesses. I help them tell their stories in a way that is actually relatable. So like tech companies, I make you human. And that's my approach. Like if you have a brand where you want people to actually see you and build that trust, and these are pretty much all service-based organizations, I help you to be a relatable brand and story out in the marketplace. So that, you know, you can improve relationships, drive growth and funding. And what I do with, you know, entrepreneurs or recent graduates is I help them to get clear on what their story is. And that is just the driver behind building a career or a brand for themselves. So understanding, again, what your values are, what you like learning about, and what your kind of natural capabilities are, what your talents are, is really like the foundation to what I do with both of those. It's the same kind of approach. It's a deep discovery of getting to know you to figure out where your strength is and what your service could be.
All right, I'll hire you. Fine. Only took 5 podcasts together.
There we go. No, you just keep having me on your podcast. We'll just talk.
I know. I'm selfishly doing this, you know, like I'm going to have you on like once a month, but it's going to be for selfish reasons because you're helping me discover myself.
Yeah. In my last coaching, because we all need a coach, right? And I had to like suck that up because I was like, I'm supposed to be one, but I don't know how to grow my business.
You're such a, like, you would be an incredible coach. Like, you know, you've been through so much, you've lived the experiences, you are strategic, you are an incredible writer, you are like the way that you help navigate things, and like especially with even talking right now, and like you know how to ask the right questions. I mean, you would be, anybody would be so lucky to have you as a coach. I'm sorry. So I'm selling you.
You're very sweet. I am looking forward to finishing this book, which summer, I don't know why I thought summer was a good time for me to like hone down and finish a book while I've got kids running around. But I am going to finish it. And once I do, I look forward to like taking it on the road and doing more workshops and live reads and things like that. So
totally. Well, near the end of your story, you stop talking about your journey and you begin talking about your beautiful daughters. And to me, that was the moment where the story became more about you leaving a legacy and building a legacy to leave a legacy. It wasn't just about everything that you've learned. It became about everything you hope they won't have to learn the hard way. Oh, I have goosebumps just saying that. So as a mom, what do you hope your daughters take away from your story? And what beliefs about success, self-worth, and resilience do you hope they carry with them that maybe our generation wasn't taught?
Yeah, lots there.
Ooh, unpackage that.
Oh my God. So I'll say the biggest one is that you have to love yourself above everybody else, right? I feel like a lot of moms in our generation were martyrs, might be the wrong word. I don't subscribe to this belief that as a mom you have to like give all of yourself away. I think it's damaging. So I teach them to love themselves first, and whatever relationship they have with whomever, as long as that is a good person, you know, and they believe in them and they have goals of their own, then those are like the foundational things. Because success, whatever that looks like for you, will follow. But if you can dedicate the time to figure out what you want to do with your life, how you want to make your contribution to this world, and what makes you happy, then that's the priority over anything else. Right now, my my second daughter told me the other day that she wants to adopt, and then she said she wants to get artificially inseminated, and I was like, well, those are two different things. But power to you, whatever whatever makes you happy.
You know who she should talk to?
So they're just like, they're all over the place. But you know, I want them to explore, figure yourself out, and do good. I am a huge proponent of community service as a healing mechanism and a way to just get out of your own head. And that's, I always encourage people, like, if you're stuck and you're struggling, go volunteer somewhere with an organization like what you did. You know, it's such a great way to gain perspective, and then to maybe learn another thing that you really love to do.
It's true.
So we'll see. They might all end up, you know, living it with me forever, but to be determined.
A mother's dream.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
If they're gonna pay the bills, maybe.
Yeah, right. No, there was definitely a lot of sarcasm in that comment.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. Like, doing the good work is it opens up something, and you learn different things about yourself, and I think that you're right. When you do get in that stuck mindset, or you're super down, is just trying to find that strength, to find like some organization or some organization, charity, whatever it may be, and just do something that is selfless.
Yeah, I mean, and that could even be like if you are a fitness person and you got away from fitness and you need a way to get back in that's going to help you to be accountable, go play some pickleball, you know, go join a team. Once upon a time, maybe you were an athlete and you forgot who that person is. You just have to constantly be reconnecting with yourself and gaining perspective.
Totally. Well, we're coming toward the end here of our last question. And we asked every guest a version of this question. If someone listening today feels they're living in one of those chapters that doesn't make sense, starting over maybe they're questioning their path, maybe they believe they've fallen behind. What would you want them to know about trusting that this chapter isn't wasted?
You learn from it. No experience is wasted. You learn either the good, the bad, the ugly, but it's all data that you can put towards your next decision. And if you're searching, keep searching until you find what makes you tick. Don't ever give that up. Some people search their entire lives, but if you search with intention and you align with what is important to you and what you're good at, then, you just start chipping away at it, like you said.
I love it.
It's a process.
Thank you so much, as always. I love having these conversations with you. Well, guys, that's a wrap. This is the end of our night together. Thank you for your patience and all of the technical difficulties that we've had. John and I one day.
We made it, though.
Hey, you know what? We did it. We're here.
I wonder how the U.S. is doing. Thanks for all of those who joined us during the World Cup.
U.S. is, and trust me, it's on in the background. It's
Is it?
It's we're 1-0. We're doing well. 75 minutes. We got about almost to the 90-minute mark. So go USA. Anyhow, guys,
probably having a heart attack downstairs.
He's screaming. Mine had to leave because I knew he'd be screaming.
Yeah, so I'm upstairs.
I love it. Thank you so much, my dear friend. Hang in there with me. John's gonna hit my outro, and we'll just chat in a second. But everybody, this is
For more real conversations like this, subscribe to letsgetunstuck.blog, where I share every story and every live episode. I'm Tracy Edwards. This is me, and this is my truth.